Carolyn's Missing and the Murdered is a weekly YouTube channel that covers the topic of missing and or murdered individuals from the state of Maryland. If you like this channel, please like and subscribe and click the bell so you'll be notified when the next cases are released. This week I'm covering a few old cases that I think need some covering from the 1970s and the 1980s. All of these cases are being handled by the Maryland State Police. 68-year-old Leroy Bass was the owner of the Bass Motel, now known as the Boulevard Motel. On November 30th, 1976, Leroy opened the motel as usual. His 11-year-old niece was with him that day, helping with the motel duties. Two men entered and asked for a room. Leroy asked his niece to grab some sheets and set up one of the rooms. When she left the room, the men demanded money at gunpoint. When the niece returned, one of the suspects locked her in the bathroom. While she was escaping through the window, she heard two gunshots. Leroy Bass had been shot in the head and he passed away. During the investigation, it turned out that the suspects stole two guns. In speaking with the niece, one of the suspects was called Mo, and sketches were done. 20-year-old Goldie Fritz went out for a drive with her boyfriend Tim Mills. They parked at the Parkhead in Big Pool, Maryland, around 10 p.m. on March 13, 1979. A man approached the car with a gun after getting out of a Pontiac Grand Prix. He robbed the pair of $60. Tim told police that the gunman had ordered him from the car and told him to start swimming or he would be shot. Tim noticed that Goldie was still in the car when he jumped into the Potomac River. Tim then swam from the Maryland side to the West Virginia side. When police arrived to the Maryland side, they began searching for Goldie, who was not in the car. Goldie was afraid of water and could not swim. Police found her body several feet from land in the water. Tim took two polygraphs. He failed one and the other was inconclusive. When DNA testing became available, they tested Tim's DNA to the DNA found on Goldie's body, and it was not a match. A person claiming to be Goldie's cousin posted on Web Sleuths that the attacker's description given by Tim matched that to a family acquaintance. This person had a Grand Prix that conveniently disappeared. Police attempted to get DNA from this person, but was unsuccessful. On September 2nd, 1983, 17-year-old Kennett Gehman was riding her bike in her Havre to Grace, Maryland neighborhood. She was never seen alive again. On January 19, 1990, her remains were found in the woods of Darlington, Maryland. She was able to be identified by dental records. Her cause of death was unable to be determined, but it is believed to be homicide. 19-year-old Joan Charlton had just entered her freshman year of college at Frostburg University in 1983. She was last seen on September 11, 1983 at 5:30 a.m. doing laundry in the dorm. When she didn't show up for class the next day on the 12th, her counselor called her home in Baltimore to see if she was there. Her roommate reported her missing. A group of people began to search the campus of Frostburg University. When they got to the Arboretum section of the campus, searchers found her blue laundry bag full of laundry, including the clothes she was last seen wearing. At the footbridge, there was a pool of blood, and they found her body by Sand Spring Run. She was naked and covered by leaves. She had been stabbed 19 times. 41-year-old Carolyn McComas worked for a bank, and one of her duties was to service ATM machines. On October 14th, 1986, she went to service one of the machines on Pulaski Highway and Lewis Lane in Havre de Grace, Maryland, around 1:30 p.m. The ATM kiosk was where the CVS pharmacy is currently located. A man approached her with a gun and forced her into the kiosk. A few minutes later, the man emerged and got into a van driven by someone else. They headed south towards Aberdeen, according to witnesses. The bank's branch manager arrived after being alerted by a silent alarm. The manager found Carolyn's body. She was bound by her hands and feet with cable ties. She was gagged and shot in the head twice. She died 3 days later at what is now Bayview Medical Center. 28-year-old divorced mom of two girls ages 5 and 7, Mary Kelly, planned on going out the evening of April 21st, 1988. She went to Wargo's and then Friar Tuck's in Forest Hill, Maryland. When she did not return home, she was reported missing by her mother. Her car was found at the Royal Farms on Route 543, and her car had bloodstains on the driver's side door. 5 months later, on September 27th, 1988, a construction worker found a body in the woods off Patterson Mill Road in Belair, Maryland. What is horrifying of this case is that her family found out when a news reporter held up a vertebrae on the news, and then the police later showed up at the family's home holding an envelope. Inside the envelope was a ring that still had Mary's skin attached. Mary's mom had a heart attack days later. Police determined that Mary Kelly had been abducted, raped, and murdered. If you have any information regarding any of these cases, please email the Cold Case Homicide Unit at msp.homicide@maryland.gov. Thank you for joining me this week. If there's a Maryland's Missing or Murder case you'd like to see on this channel, email me at marylandsmissing@gmail.com. My X account is Maryland's M&M. Music is by Silent Vengeance. Sources will be listed in the outro. I'll see you again next week. Be kind to one another. You never know what will happen tomorrow.